Hey everybody, how's it going? On today's video, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about 5 audiobooks that I really enjoy. Top 5, I would definitely say, but they will be in no particular order, except the first one. The first one is definitely going to be one of my favorite audiobook series that I'm currently enjoying. All right, so the first one on our list is, again, this is in no particular order, but this is definitely my favorite audiobook series so far, and that is the Wandering Inn series by Pirate Abba. I really enjoy this series. I really enjoy the narration from Andrea Parsons, and it's just my favorite audiobook series as of the time of this recording. And if you like isekai stories or stories, what that means is like someone from our Earth going to a fantasy setting and just how the interaction with that works out and all of the interesting twists and plots. How the person even get there? Can they even come back? How does someone from our Earth into a fantasy setting? How does that affect? What does magic have to do with it? I think if you enjoy those kind of stories, you will really enjoy the Wandering Inn series, and I would highly recommend you go on Audible. That's where I get my audiobooks, and go check it out because it is just a great series. I really enjoy it. And number 2 on our list, again, this is no particular order, but this is one I also really do enjoy. But next on our list is He Who Fights with Monsters. This is another lit RPG series. I'm pretty sure it's lit RPG, but this is another series where someone is ripped from Earth and put into another fantasy setting. This doesn't have levels per se, but it's just like it has uh, there's like stages. There is iron, there is bronze, there is silver, and then there is gold and diamond, and I think there's even transcendence in the series. There's a whole bunch of like power levels, but in He Who Fights with Monsters, there is a character called Jason Asano that is ripped from his world and put into a new world, and he's figuring out, and he's being put in all these situations. There is a lot of cool, uh, mystical fantasy-esque stuff going on, and I think if you really enjoy stories, and there's a bunch of also quips, and Jason, the character Jason, is just someone that just has a lot to say, and sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's like, okay, he's getting a little rambly, but there's just a lot of moments in this book that just are fun. The story's interesting. There's a lot of action, and there's also some points where you just laugh out loud at the shenanigans. And Heath Miller is the narrator. I am blanking on the author right now, but it is a really good series, and I highly recommend you go on Audible. Again, that's where I get my audiobooks. And if you want to go ahead and check that story out, go ahead and check it out on Audible. Next on our list, number 3, is a book called All the Skills. This is a lit RPG, I know that for a fact, and it is a deck building lit RPG. If you can't tell behind me, I like board games. And when I heard about a book that was lit RPG levels, gaining a system, and then when you add deck building to it, I'm kind of like, okay, I can get behind this. The book sounded interesting, and Luke Daniels is the narrator. Again, I'm blanking on the author, and I do apologize. But yeah, Luke Daniels does a great job narrating this series. There is 2 books right now on Audible, but yeah, All Skills is a great, interesting book with dragons that use cards because they are born with cards, and there's dragon riders, and then also there's just cards within the universe that you can, that's their kind of form of magic, and it's just a really awesome series. There's 2 books right now, and they're just really cool. I know there's just so much more to explain, but to keep this video short, again, this is just if you like dragons and dragon riders, and if you like deck building, and it was like a, is in board games. And if that sounds an interesting plot where, people are gathering cards to gather power and fight monsters, this is definitely something that I would recommend. Again, all the skills on Audible. It's a great story, and I'd highly recommend you go check it out. All right, so next on our list, number four is another one of my favorites. This is listed in no particular order, but I definitely really love this series because all of the other books that I have mentioned, all the audiobooks I've mentioned, are kind of intense. They have all this, these stories, these missions, these, save the world, don't die, and all this stuff. And it kind of gets a little intense. But this next book, this next series, just kind of like eases that off a little bit, and that is Beware of Chicken. This one by Casual Farmer and narrated by Travis Baldree is just a delight. This is another kind of isekai story where someone from Earth is going to another mystical realm of cultivators, and this is where, like, creatures can become intelligent. They're called spirit beasts, and the main character is just trying to grow his farm and keep himself peaceful and not mess with cultivator world business. I just think, one, Travis Baldree is a great narrator and author. He does have a couple books on Audible that are pretty good, and but he's just a great narrator. And Casual Farmer has just this casual series that is just very funny and makes me laugh, and it definitely takes the edge off of like audiobooks and stories that are like end of the world, gotta fight all the time. And there is some fighting in this, but it's very, like, I don't know, the edge. It's the edge is a little just duller, and it's not so intense all the time, and you can just laugh at things and have a good time and have an enjoyable experience. It's not that I don't enjoy some of the other books I've mentioned, but Beware of Chicken is definitely one that is just a little goofier, and a great reprieve from some of the more intense stories on this list. And last but not least, now, the one I mentioned before, is Beware of Chicken, was like, cool, calm, goofy, some little seriousness, but not terribly. This next one is like, there's some dark humor. There's just like intense, um, you know, language in this one, and it's just kind of like, people are dying, people, it's like the end of the world type stuff. Uh, Kind of a little bit apocalyptic storyline. This one is very intense, and this is Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is if you don't mind dark humor and you're someone that has been in the military, or someone that is like first responder, or just been in that kind of situation where you don't mind the intensity of a situation and you can kind of laugh about it afterwards, Dungeon Crawler Carl is an amazingly funny, kind of messed up book series by Matt Dinneman, um, and performed by Jeff Hayes. Jeff Hayes is actually the owner of Sound Booth Theater. He does a lot of interesting voices, but he does the voice of the audiobooks on Audible for Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I was a little hesitant at this one at first. I looked at it, didn't seem really interesting at first, but then when I finally like bought it, pulled the trigger on it, and listened to it, I I laughed a lot, and it was really funny. Some of the stuff was kind of messed up, but also like it was just I don't know. I just found the humor kind of hilarious. Sometimes it was a little more like, okay, all right, I don't know if I can always, I need small doses of this, but man, once you get into it, it just is just funny. And the AI just cracks me up every time that it just wants to go ahead and tell you about achievements and stuff. Again, Dungeon Crawl Carl is, quick summary, it's just like the world goes to crap, and because people are taking over Earth, it owes people money, and now they have this game show. It's life and death, and you're trying to win. And there's all these things stacked against Carl and his crew, and he's trying to fight back. but throughout all this, his cat becomes sentient, or his girlfriend's cat becomes sentient and, can talk, and her name is Princess Donut. And it's just a great series. It's intense. It's got some language, and it's got some dark humor, but if that's kind of your thing, again, Dungeon Crawl Car is a great series. I laugh about it a lot, and it's just a fun book, a funny book, but definitely one that you might need to take uh, just a little bit here and there. But with Jeff Hayes' narrations, he does a great job with just the voices and everything, and even it's also in sound booth theaters. They redid it a little bit for more intense, sounds, and they even added some more other narrators, and to make it more of an interesting experience. But yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl is another one I would recommend. But yeah, it's crazy, but it's good. All right, so those are my top 5 audiobook picks, recommendations, if you will. What are some audiobooks that you would recommend? Leave them in the comments below. And also, where do you listen to your audiobooks? I primarily listen to all my audiobooks on Audible. I find it just an easy place. I got a lot of my books there. I don't even know if there is even another great place to go and listen to other audiobooks, and the diverse selection that I get to choose from. But yeah, just let me know in the comments of your recommendations and where you might be listening to audiobooks. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I do apologize not knowing all the authors, but I really enjoyed their series. I think I definitely know more narrators than authors, which is kind of weird. Like on Audible, I usually, if I want a new series, sometimes I'll even check for, or I'll search the narrators and see what other things they've narrated. And sometimes that's worked out, sometimes really well, and other times not so much. It's nothing against the narrator, just like, the book didn't really work out. But yeah, I would love to know books that you're currently listening to right now. A book that I'm currently listening to right now is the 3rd book in the Azeroth Healer. Again, narrated by Andrea Parsnell. I just really enjoy her narrations, and also the series is interesting. I don't know if it's one of my top 5 favorite. Definitely, didn't make it on this video, but it's just something that I'm listening to right now. But yeah, just let me know what you're listening to right now in the comments below. But yeah, so without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you can enjoy these recommendations, and I can't wait to read yours in the comments. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get back to listening to Azeroth Healer, Book 3, and I've got a bunch of things in my wish list that I need to also listen to. So, without further ado, we'll talk to you guys later and see you next time. Toodles!